Dean, big night for the Super Saloons here tonight.
Yeah, no, it's our big meeting of the year, South Pacific Champs. Good to see a good field of cars and good to see, the USA drivers here. It's a real boost for our division.
You've had a look at some of the local guys here. How hot are they?
Well, there's always, in every crop of racing drivers, there's always the people that stand out, and that's the way it is here. There's a lot of really good drivers here, and actually, I'm not going to take anything away from anybody. All the drivers here are really good, so you really have to be on your toes when you come in and try to run a race like this.
Well, a chance to have a look at the performance of Justin Allgaier from Riverton, Illinois, one of two Americans, the second one being Wes Miller. This is Heat 1 of the Pinto Orange Juice's South Pacific Saloon Championship. It is a marble draw for grid positions for heat number 1. It is the reverse of the draw for heat number 2. And for the feature event where we will be crowning a Super Saloon champion of the South Pacific, it is fastest qualifier off the front, but we will be pulling a marble to invert maybe 6, maybe 8, maybe 4 of the top cars. Away they go, and number 35 it is that jets into the front, and that's Darren McKinley from Gisborne. Right in behind him, it looks like the 72, Ken Signs from the mount here, and watch too for Paul Carter in the GT Radials car. So the Kiwis out in the front for the early going, but the ones we're watching for is 17-year-old Justin Allgaier from Illinois, and also Wes Miller from Texas does his racing out of Devil's Bowl. There is car number 1, the Pontiac GTO of Allgaier, already starting to cut his way through the traffic, just disposing of one of the Flynn brothers there. That was Steve Flynn by the look of it in the 5B. Of course, Grant Flynn in the 6B. Allgaier just 4'6" tall and 10 stone, ringing wet, so there's not a lot of him. But boy, once he climbs behind the wheel of this Pontiac, he really gets the job done. On board here with Morris Cowling, ex-midget car champion of New Zealand, ex-Super Saloon champion of New Zealand, in his favoured number 27. Unusual shot looking at Morris as he works his way up past number 5 there, Steve Flynn. But the yellow flags come out, and that means that we have got problems on the racetrack here at the Todd and Pollock Speedway. And it means that Darren McKinley is going to have to do it all again. There he is out in the front from Gisborne. Darren McKinley in the Chev. Away he goes. They wave the green, and Ken Signs won't be a whole lot happy with that because he was a fair bit behind him, but they go through and the start stands. So McKinley in the front, Signs in second place. This is where all the battling is at the moment. 27 there, that is Morris Cowling just up ahead of him, number 74. And another one to watch for from Whittianga, this is Craig Richard. We're back on board here with Morris Cowling, working his way through turn number 2 now. The track is really come to the drivers here in the early going at Bay Park. A lot of them surprised with the traction out there, but it's certainly not surprising Darren McKinley. He is out on the front, started off the front of this one and stayed there. And as the checkered flag flies, it is Darren McKinley in first place. It'll be Dean Waddell in second. In third place, Craig Richard. We said he was one to look for. And in fourth, the first of the Americans, that is Justin Allgaier. Fifth place, the veteran Morris Cowling. And in sixth, Ken Signs.
Darren, that one looked easy.
Oh, I assure you it wasn't. I was a bit worried when the two cars went past me and Richie's on the outside. I thought, oh well, my luck's not holding out, I'll just stay in third. And then the orange came on, and thank God they put me back to the front, and I won it from there.
You're starting fairly well up in the next heat. What's the plan? Keep going forward as much as you can?
Definitely. We're going to try to go as forward as much as possible and just get as many points as possible. We need to start up towards the front of the feature. It is a long feature, but the farther up you can start, the less cars you have to contend with. So we're going to try to go forward and keep the car moving and just have a good time.
Like all top-level sport in New Zealand these days, corporate hospitality is the name of the game. Not only have you got the very best seats in the house, the view from the Todd and Pollock corporate box is second to none, but complimentary food and beverage as well. The draw has been completed, and these people seated above the start-finish line are set to enjoy the Pinto South Pacific Super Saloon Championship in comfort. Just about set for the start in heat number 2 of the Pinto South Pacific Super Saloon Championships. In the first heat, it was Darren McKinley from Gisborne. That's him further down through the field this time. The best of the Americans, starting from grid position 2. That's Wes Miller, does his racing out of Devil's Bowl in Texas. We're on board here, though, with Justin Allgaier, the 17-year-old out of Riverton, Illinois, which is a suburb of Springfield, Illinois. There in the Midwest of the United States of America, does most of his racing in ARCA and late model saloons. But it is Wes Miller, the best of the Americans at the moment. He's trying to get around Grant Flynn And, well, they're side by side as they work their way up the straight. Who's going to get there? Flynn on the inside, the American, Miller on the outside. Miller gets through the turn a little bit later, but here comes Flynn back on the inside. So great racing, great racetrack we've got here. This is Heat 2 of the Pinto South Pacific Saloon Car Championship, and it's as close as you like. And number 3 coming into play there as well, David Spears. And we just got a glimpse of car number 1, and that's Justin Algar, so he's in the hunt as well. The Americans, though, oh, look at this, sandwiching the Kiwis, and there's a bit of contact there as well. Well, I tell you what, Justin Algar looks like butter wouldn't melt in his mouth, but put him in a race car and he's totally different, and he's paid the price a little. He's gone back a couple of spots because Spears and Flynn have got up ahead of him. There he is, number 1, the Pontiac GDO, Justin Algar from Illinois. Outside of him, though, trying to use the high line here at Bay Park, and that is Wes Miller, and he's doing it to good effect at the moment. So Miller in the front. Algar sits in 3rd place down on the pole line. In there as well is David Spears in the 3 New Zealand car, and watch 2 for number 74. That is Craig Richards in the Tony Richards Toyota sponsored Corvette. As close as you like, and there's more contact going on just behind the lead bunch, and that has brought out the yellow caution flags again, and I think Dean Waddell was involved in that, so that's going to hurt his chances in the Pinto South Pacific Saloon Car Championship. This is heat number 2. We've got a final yet to come. It's the top point scorer off the front, but as we said earlier, we will be inverting. It may be the top 4, it may be the top 6, it may even be the top 8. So all these guys racing as if their life depended on it. There is number 74. Craig Richards from Whitianga, one of the top runners here at Bay Park, has won 2 features thus far this season, so he has got consistency on his side as well. But it's the Americans showing the Kiwis at the moment, although David Spears isn't going to give it up without a fight. Where's Miller? I'm on the outside. Here comes Algar to run interference, if you like, for the Kiwi. Doesn't work for him. A little bit more contact. Rubbing's racing, they say, and that's what we've got here. Miller in the front, Algar in second, or is he? He dives down to the inside, squares the turn. Spears is the meat in the sandwich. Miller goes into the front, up on the high line. Now watch as they turn down the straight once again. It's the New Zealand car of David Spears is the spoiler at the moment. Algar changes direction as well. He's up on the high groove. The Americans running up high, the Kiwis down on the pole line. It's working for Miller at the moment. Craig Richards isn't far off this battle in 4th, and it's Kenny Signs and also number 6, and that is Grant Flynn. But look at the action at the front of the field. Spears has got the nose in front, but can he hold it there? Algar's car suffering a little bit of damage. Some of the bodywork starting to crumple at the front. Here is Spears, the Max Motors car of David Spears, in the lead for the moment, but the Americans aren't done with yet. Spears down on the pole line, the Americans up high. Car number 1, Justin Algar, gets ahead of Wes Miller. Algar looking for the inside run as they head down towards the flag. Is it going to be his? No, it isn't. Spears shuts the door. Now they're side by side. Door handle to door handle racing. Bay Park has always been known for fantastic super saloon racing, and that's what we're seeing here in the Pinto South Pacific Saloon Championship. Heat number 2, and it's the American, Justin Algar, who's got the nose in front. Miller back in 3rd. The meat in the sandwich is the Kiwi, and that is David Spears. Then it's Craig Richards by the look of it. Behind him, Grant Flynn and Ken Signs there as well. The checkered flag flies, and it's the young American Justin Algar takes it from David Spears from New Zealand. Wes Miller from Texas is 3rd, and then it's Richards, Flynn, Signs and Morris Cowling.
The car definitely is working pretty good. It'll go either way I want it to go, and we're getting closer on the setup. We're starting to work a few bugs out of the car. I put a few dents in the car, so I'm not too worried about it now. But no, the car's just really running pretty good, and everything seems to be going our way.
Some people say that truck's going to get faster, other people say it's going to get slower.
Yeah, well, I guess we'll see what happens when we get out there, but I just think 25 laps on there. Yeah, it's the dew's coming a little bit now, getting a little bit heavier, but the track's quite gone. It's got quite a lot of loose stuff on it, and that's always hard to come back from.
You going to fix it?
I think we can, yeah. We should be able to weld it up, and unfortunately it'll mean we've got a near the rear start, but hey, 25 laps, a racetrack if it's good. Few yellows, and yeah, who knows.
Gentlemen, start your race cars.
So there is the command from promoter here at Bay Park, Todd and Pollock Speedway, Mr. Willie Kay. And you've got to hand it to Willie. He's brought the Super Saloons to the fore here this season. Once again, he's got American competitors down here. You've got to go back a long way, something like 25 years since a top American saloon car driver's been here, and that would have been Gene Welch back in the Waikaraka Park days. This is the feature event, the Pinto South Pacific Super Saloon Championship, and the best of them away is the top point scorer, and that is David Spears, 3 New Zealand. Kenny Sines goes with him in the 72 car. Also there, number 74, Craig Richards. But watch for car number 1 from the USA, the Pontiac GTO. We're on board with him now. This is Justin Allgaier from Riverton in Illinois. Man that's been running the late models. Now, you're probably wondering what the difference between a late model American saloon and a super saloon is. Well, I can tell you that the late models run slightly bigger cubic inches in the engines. They run carburetors, not fuel injection, and slightly different tyres, so it's pretty close. And the young kid from Illinois has certainly adapted quickly. Well, he started his racing career in quarter midgets, progressed through to karts. Can you believe this? As a 14-year-old, he made the A main at the Chili Bowl in Tulsa, Oklahoma, possibly then America's biggest midget car show. And as I said, he's been running ARCA cars on mile ovals, but he's quickly adapted to Todd and Pollock Speedway here at Bay Park. And you've got to praise Willie Kay. He did it a few years ago when he brought the sprint car teams out when he was the promoter at Western Springs, and he's done it here at Bay Park with the Super Saloons. The American in the mix here at the Pinto South Pacific Super Saloon Championship. 25 laps, and when the checkered flag falls, one man's going to go home with the trophy. Now, will it be Wes Miller in the number 2 USA car? Will it be Justin Allgaier? Or what about David Spears? What a tear this young man is on. Came in 3rd place in the New Zealand Championships just a week ago. Shane Marker took the title off this man. And remember, Dean Waddell in the Todd and Pollock Pontiac has started from the very back. So he is the one making all the progress at the moment. The veteran here of Bay Park, both in its new guys and its older guys, a past New Zealand Super Saloon champion just a season ago, in fact. So he's definitely one to watch. Meantime, at the front of the field, it is Spears, Allgaier and Miller by the look of it. And the Kiwi getting in there and spoiling it is Craig Richards. Ken Sines in there as well. There he is in the 72 car. Oh, just a touch and round goes Kenny Sines. Oh, and he gets a bit of help there from number 6, Grant Flynn. So that will bring on the yellow caution flags once again, and the field will close up. And keep an eye on Dean Waddell. He started at the very back. I think he's already up into the top 10, just up in front of Paul Carter at the moment. 3, Spears on the restart. Trying to go with him is the 74 of Richards. And right around the outside, he said he'd use the high groove. This is Justin Allgaier from Illinois. Here is Dean Waddell, starts to work on Grant Flynn now, so he's making progress each and every lap. Morris Cowling sits in behind him, another past Super Saloon champion of New Zealand. In fact, the only man that's won an open wheel title and a Super Saloon title in New Zealand Speedway history. Morris Cowling, for those Speedway fans watching our coverage, will remember that he was a midget car champion of New Zealand not so many years ago. So he's working with his good friend Dean Waddell toward the back. This is what's happening at the front. Allgaier up on the high groove. Down on the inside, it's Craig Richards in the Tony Richards Toyota Corvette. So Pontiac GTO on Corvette. Oh, and it's as close as you like, and there's a bit of a touch there. Craig Richards certainly hasn't been overawed by the pedigree of Justin Allgaier, and what a pedigree he's got. He runs hard, he runs straight, and he runs clean, and Tony Richards does the same. He's been on a bit of a streak here at Bay Park, and he's got the nose in front. And look at the way the cars are set up, so soft, using all the traction in the world, waggling the left front wheel as they work their way into the long straights here at Todd and Pollock Speedway. Richards in the Corvette, the Pontiac GTO or the Holden Monaro of Justin Allgaier in 2nd place, and back in 3rd place I think it may be Wes Miller, and Steve Flynn might be arguing that point. We'll go back to them very shortly. There is Miller, and look at these cars, brand new. They've run straight out of the transporter, haven't missed a beat. And you can say the same about the drivers, both of them teenagers. So the youngsters from America coming to the fore here in the Pinto South Pacific Saloon Car Championship. Miller has been racing in the Silver Crown Series for Dirt Champ cars. Now, you've probably heard that name before, and you've heard the names of Jimmy Sills and Dave Darland, also been out here in midget cars. Well, they come from a champ car background as well. Yellow caution lights fly, so that means that the lead of Craig Richards is going to be swallowed up once again, and it's also a chance for the Americans to get back to the front. Just a couple of bits of confusion about who needs to be where in the restart. There is the race leader, 74 Richards. Behind him it is Justin Allgaier, then it's Spears, then it's Flynn. 81, the Todd and Pollock car of Dean Waddell, already up into 6th place, so that's an amazing effort when you consider he's come from the back virtually to the front, and there's still laps to go here. Richards, though, doing a fantastic job out of Whittianga, the 74 car, the Corvette. Following him is Justin Allgaier. Then it's Wes Miller. In fact, Miller's just been gapped a little bit there by the number 3 New Zealand car of David Spears, and also by Grant Flynn by the look of it. So changes further down through the field, but we concentrate on the action at the front. Here's a man working his way towards the front. This is Dean Waddell, and that's 3rd and 4th place he's battling with there. You just got a glimpse of Miller, so Dean Waddell right in the mix as well. So too the second of the Flynn brothers. That's Steve Flynn in the 5. 81 Waddell, the champion in Super Saloons up until about a week ago when he was dethroned after a crash. But now back to his favourite track, his favourite facility, the best facility you'd have to say in New Zealand for Super Saloons, and we're certainly seeing it here in the Pindo South Pacific Championships. 81 Waddell having a bit of a hard job getting around car number 6, and that is Grant Flynn. Oh, and there's contact there, and I think that was Spears as well, so that's taken out 2 of the contenders for the New Zealanders, and it's let Justin Allgaier get to the front and breathe just a little bit easier. Just up ahead of him now, and quite a good lead he's got too. The Tony Richards Toyota-sponsored Corvette of Craig Richards. Then it's the American, and then I think it might be Dean Waddell. Well, in fact, just in behind Steve Flynn at the moment. So Waddell is on a bit of a charge. Now he decides to go to the high line here at Todd and Pollock Speedway. Around the number 5 he goes. That is Steve Flynn. So Waddell getting up onto the podium positions here. There is the race leader, number 74, Craig Richards. 2 feature wins so far this season at Todd and Pollock Speedway. The Autobahn Tony Richards Toyota Corvette gets the white flag, so 1 to go for the Kiwi, and he's got a healthy advantage over Justin Allgaier, so it looks like a New Zealander's going to win the Pindo South Pacific Super Saloon Championships here at the Todd and Pollock Speedway. Just a couple of turns to go. He'll see the checkered flag first, and Whittianga's Craig Richards wins the South Pacific Saloon Car Championship. In 2nd place it will be America's Justin Allgaier, and in 3rd place the Texan Wes Miller. 4th was Steve Flynn, and in 5th place Dean Waddell.
Craig, you really found that racetrack.
It was hard work there for a few laps, but the car come to it and I could make the pass and make it stick, so we're very, very happy with the result.
Throttle, two-wheeled, motorsport mayhem.
Oh, he's hit it.
16 metal rockets.
Look at that.
Race for the line in 12 turbocharged rounds.
The boys are really putting on a show.
With the title vacant.
That is as close as you like.
It's full tilt, wheel-to-wheel thrills and spills.
Oh, I don't believe what I'm seeing.
World Superbikes exclusively live on Sky Sport as part of Sky Sports Motorsport coverage.